In a Wall Street Journal op-ed, our next guest says Silicon Valley is facing a coming energy crisis. Huntsman Corp CEO Peter Huntsman says access to cheap and reliable electricity powered by fossil fuels will soon pose a major risk to big tech. Peter Huntsman joins us this morning, and this is a very specific thing that you're talking about, Peter, but you don't need to think very long or very hard about global energy demand and the viable ways that we're going to be able to satisfy it for both developed countries and less developed countries. And it's going to involve fossil fuels for the next several decades at least.
Well, think of the billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars we've spent in this country. We still have over 60% of our electricity production is coming from fossil fuels. And it's much higher if you look at the reliable and cheap electricity. So it's not just about electrons. It's also about the availability, the reliability, and the affordability. The average person out there, I'm not sure a lot of people really go through this. And it has everything to do with inflation, cost of living, everything.
AI, and take your pick. Whatever new technology, Bitcoin, whatever new technology you want to talk about is going to going to need even more energy than we previously had, along with everything else. As the rest of the world comes, hopefully, to our standard of living, you're going to need more energy. We're going to need to provide it somehow. And for some reason, the climate lobby is very, very powerful. And the way we're going right now, for example, in Europe, you point out Europe is deindustrializing. What's the end game?
That's a very good question, because there's a detachment from reality here. And the reality is everything in this studio, everything that we're wearing, everything that we eat, it's processed, it's stored, it's transported by something that either comes out of the ground in the form of oil or a mineral ore. And how things are made, we seem to have just forgotten that, how things go in that entire process. There are over 500 different chemicals that are used to make a cell phone. Now, we want cleaner chemistry, but when the EPA takes 3 to 4 years to approve new chemistry, new chemicals, how do you improve that? How do you make things better? How do you make things faster? It's all about chemistry and basic science.
You know, Peter, we'll say, well, Huntsman, what do you expect to hear from Peter Huntsman? But it's not that, I mean, you may have a horse in this game, but you're really just looking at the reality of the situation that a lot of people aren't. And I joke to you that you will see the people organizing a climate demonstration on their cell phones, which are made of plastic, which are being transported using electricity that's generated from oil. They're driving to the demonstration in a minivan.
Look, right? It's our products that produce the wind blades and produce the solar panels. I mean, I'm not anti-wind, I'm not anti-solar, but we also need reliability, we need affordability, and we need solutions. That means there's a finite amount of a number of these things, and we've just got to work together. With AI coming on, we're building data centers. A new data center takes a little over a year to build. It takes 10 years to permit many of these new gas-burning power plants. It takes even longer for wind and solar. So that's the disconnect that we have.
So you've looked into this, and you're not a climate scientist, obviously, but how worried are you that if we don't cut back on all these things, that there is an existential threat 10, 15, 20 years from today? Because that's what we hear.
I don't think that the threat's going to be 10 or 20 years. I think it's going to be 3 to 5 years from now. When you start to see...
No, I'm talking about an existential threat from rising oceans, from increased, the claim of increased hurricanes, increased tornadoes. I'm not talking about running out of energy.
Okay, well,
I'm talking about the existential crisis that we hear is coming from climate. Because if you believe that, you should go back to living in the Stone Age if you really think that's coming.
My existential threat is around the average person affordability,
having energy.
Inflation.
That's a different existential
You just had
threat.
a section on here about the fees coming in out of New York City. Well, that's nothing if electrical prices are going to be going up 30, 40, 50% because there's shortages. That's 3 to 5 years out. But if you start looking at the 10 to 20 years out, well, I'm 61 years old, and I've heard this now for 30, 40 years.
Right.
It seems like
right.
we're always 5 years.
Right.
We're never a year away. We're never 30 years away. It's always about 5 to 10 years away.
3 to 5 years out, electricity prices, you think, will go up 30% because we won't be able to meet demand?
Look, is it 30%? The last electron of available electricity, how much is that going to be worth? It's not going to be 30% up. It's going to be multiple times up. And when we have consumers and utilities that are competing against these multi-trillion-dollar high-tech companies
for the data center,
for the data centers and so forth, and they want to buy up the reliable and the affordable electricity. Again, I have no problem with them doing it. It's a free market. Heaven bless them. But on one hand, we're out here saying that we don't want hydrocarbons, and we're willing to fund that. And on the other hand, we're extending the life of coal. We're adding new capacity.
It's not really a free market, though. You have regulators who will just say you can't raise prices. Does that mean we will then have shortages?
If that's the case, yes. You are not building the capacity. If the projected, these are not Huntsman numbers. This is New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and so forth. If the projected amount of electricity that is going to be needed to power all of this, if that indeed comes on, we are not building the electrical capacity today. And the electrical capacity that will be built will have to be hydrocarbon-based. You cannot have reliable wind that's going to be running 100% of the time.
We're doing well now in terms of, I mean, price sets demand and supply, and producers in this country are producing a lot of oil. But there was a time during the campaign when President Biden said, I will end the fossil fuel industry. It looks like the numbers fly in the face of people that complain about regulations for oil and gas because we're at record levels. Could it be better than what we're seeing right now?
Well, Joe, as I said earlier, it's just one word, reality. I mean, we say that we're going to be a hydrocarbon-free power grid in 2035. That's the administration. Heaven bless. I'm not in here to discuss politics. I'm just in here to discuss the realities. And when we say we're going to be hydrocarbon-free in 2035,
impossible.
I have no problem moving from oil, but what are we moving to? Everything we produce is made from a hydrocarbon. It's not just, people say, oh, you can do it with wind. Wind doesn't actually make things. Wind doesn't actually make our cell phones and our computers.
Plastics and everything.
And medical devices and so forth.
I'm afraid to tweet. I already tweeted out. Maybe I'll leave it at that. I tweeted out a funny climate change meme that basically I'll describe it. I don't want to show. I wasn't really going to show it. Okay, there you got a donkey. I don't know what that represents. He's pumping up some hype into a big, scary climate change monster, and there's the public running, saying, "Here, take my money," and it's going into the bucket of the DNC. So, I mean, that's not. I put ha. I thought that was a joke. It's a funny joke. It's just a joke. It's harmless, right? Harmless, but there's some truth to what the climate lobby does in terms of overstating the possible calamitous future. Is there not?
I would like to see more solutions and less fear. There's a great deal of fear that's being peddled out there about the basic science of manufacturing, the chemical industry, the energy industry, and so forth. We need to be working with AI. AI is now, welcome to the party, guys.
That's from Die Hard.
We're all going to be.
Welcome to the party, pal.
That's welcome to the party, pal. We're all going to be competing now for those same electrons.
Right.
And we need to make sure that we have a sufficient amount of electricity, of a manufacturing capability. These are middle-class jobs, income, the goods and services we use every day.